JB and I were talking about the TikTok hearings yesterday on RBN. And there was something else that I wanted to point out. I didn't get a chance to because we ran out of time. So I'm actually going to point out that piece here tonight. And it's that there's another reason why this is happening. And it's not just because, you know, the US government is afraid that China's watching us, you know, that song, I always feel like somebody's watching me or whatever. It's not just because of that. There's other reasons too. And there's one that I feel has not been talked about enough, and I'm going to bring that up tonight. And that has to do with Mark Zuckerberg and Meta and their hand in this. But first, I do want to show you some of the highlights from the hearing yesterday, because some of the questions were just absolutely ridiculous. Now, this is Mr. Shou Chew yesterday. And you know what's funny? A lot of people that have been talking about this have worded it this way. Congress grills TikTok CEO. The questions that they were asking him, most of those questions were ridiculous, but here we go.
I'm making the following commitments to you and to all our users. Number one, we will keep safety, particularly for teenagers, as a top priority for us. Number two, we will firewall protected US data from unwanted foreign access. Number three, TikTok will remain a place for free expression and will not be manipulated by any government. And fourth, we will be transparent and we will give access to third-party independent monitors to remain accountable for our commitments.
So, Mr. Chew, if the CCP tells ByteDance to turn over all data that TikTok has collected inside the U.S., even within Project Texas, do they have to do so, according to Chinese law?
Congressman, first, I'm Singaporean.
That's fine, yeah. But there are employees of yours and ByteDance's in China.
We understand this concern.
So, Mr. Chew, would TikTok be prepared to divest from ByteDance and Chinese Communist Party ties?
I don't think ownership is the...
See how I don't like that phrase? This is why it bothers me. See, Marianne was using the same phrase that they're using, that Chinese Communist Party. I don't like that. Again, I feel like it is red baiting.
The issue here, with a lot of respect, American social companies don't have a good track record with data privacy and user security. I mean, look at Facebook and Cambridge Analytica. Just one example.
The Chinese government has that data.
Congresswoman, I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
I find that actually preposterous.
Our commitment is to move the data into the United States to be stored on American soil by an American company, overseen by American personnel. So the risk will be similar to any government going to an American company asking for data. We also commit to be free of all and any government manipulation. This is something that, as far as I understand, no other company, including American companies, are willing to go. So maybe this is something that we can ask the industry to provide, not just us.
Can you say with 100% certainty that TikTok does not use the phone's camera to determine whether the content that elicits a pupil dilation should be amplified by the algorithm?
What in the hell? What in the hell? Are you kidding me? Oh,
Do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users. The only face data that you get, that we collect, is when you use the filters to have, say, sunglasses on your face. We need to know where your eyes are. And
why do you need to know what the eyes are if you're not seeing if they're dilated?
And that data is stored on your local device and deleted after use if you use it for facial. Again, we do not collect body, face, or voice data to identify our users.
Mr. Chew, has ByteDance spied on Americans at the direction of the Chinese Communist Party?
I don't think that spying is the right way to describe it.
Right.
This is ultimately...
We can differ on that.
This is ultimately...
If I have a TikTok app on my phone and my phone is on my home Wi-Fi network, does TikTok access that network?
It will have to access the network to get connections to the internet.
That was the dumbest question. Does TikTok get access to my internet? Are you turning on your Wi-Fi? Like, that's with any app. With any app. I'm honestly convinced over a lot of the hearings that I've heard that our congressmen and women don't use apps. I don't think they've used Twitter. I don't think they use TikTok. I don't think some of them even know what a Facebook is. Like, based on these hearings that I've heard, they ask the dumbest questions, completely out of touch.
That's the question.
Is it possible then that it could access other devices on that home Wi-Fi network?
Congressman, we do not do anything that is beyond any industry norms. I believe the answer to your question is no.
Okay, so I felt like they were really hard on him. I think like they were being ridiculous. They were trying to make things worse than they actually are. I mean, you could say the same thing about other apps. You could say it about Facebook, Instagram. You could say it about Snapchat. Is it Snapchat? Snapchat. I don't use that one. They can say it about Snapchat. They can say it about Spotify. They can say about any of these apps that are on your phone, but they're focusing on this one because it was not made in the United States. And they do feel like China is again a threat. But it's not just because they feel like China is an economic threat. It's not just because of the whole Communist Party issue. There's a third problem. And that third problem is Mark Zuckerberg. Now, you may wonder, what does Congress have to do with that? And why would they be concerned about how Mark Zuckerberg feels about Meta not performing too well since TikTok has entered the scene? But I'm going to show you how Congress is connected. Now, here's a clip here. And this is talking about Meta shares. It's talking about Meta versus Facebook. Now we're getting into the financial ramifications that have happened since TikTok came on the scene.
All the print, listen to the call, you thought what?
Well, it's interesting, Andrew, because if you go back a few quarters ago, it was really the first time that Mark Zuckerberg got up onto an earnings call and said, look, we're facing this incredible threat called TikTok. If you remember, that was in late January of 2022. And it was.
Notice how it was referred to as a threat.
So interesting to hear him yesterday basically talk about how their substantial investments in Reels and sort of the shift to making Facebook and Instagram more video centric was actually increasing time spent on both of those apps. I don't think most investors believe that. I think most investors have looked at sort of Facebook and Instagram as sort of losers relative to the growth of TikTok. And so here's Mark trying to come out after sort of looking vulnerable earlier in the year, saying, no, we're actually growing share. We're actually taking time spent. And, you know, at the same time, it's not translating into revenue, right? Like, obviously revenue is going in the wrong direction.
So even though he was still gaining shares, they weren't actually making money anymore. They weren't making much money. Hence, that explains why now, if you notice, Facebook, or Meta, Facebook, whatever you want to call it these days, they are now on their second round of layoffs within the past couple of months. The past 3 months, they are now on their second round of layoffs. The first one, which I think was at the end of November, they laid off like 10,000 people. Now they announced they're laying off like 11,000 people, because that was the thing, is that they weren't accumulating that revenue anymore once TikTok started to blow up. That's what it was really about. Now I'm going to get into how this connects to Congress in just a second.
Part of that's obviously the economy. Part of that is obviously some of the Apple privacy changes that were made. But I think investors are having a hard time footing sort of what's happening in the business versus sort of the way the company's presenting themselves and sort of what is the real story of what does
so what do you Rich, what do you think the real story is? Which is to say, do you think, I mean, I, by the way, find myself spending more and more time on Instagram, sort of, you know, trapped in this vortex of Reels and video. But at the same time, we were talking about the ad load, significantly less, I think even significantly less than what you're seeing on TikTok, unless it's just that there's so much more volume on TikTok.
I also think at the end of the day, it's less about just pure time spent right now. I also think the hot new object in town, the platform everybody wants to be a part of that has far faster growth. Facebook may not be losing time spent, but they're certainly losing on a relative growth basis. TikTok is definitely growing faster. And I think advertisers, Andrew, are gravitating towards that medium. But all of this is sort of a sideshow to the fact that while revenue growth is slowing, while the core product has these questions, they are gunning the spending basically one, to improve the core apps, because you heard a lot about AI last night. So they're spending a lot on AI, and that's to catch TikTok. There is no doubt that is all about catching TikTok from an algorithm standpoint. And then two, plowing forward and spending more and more on the metaverse. That, just like your opening comments, Andrew, I don't think most investors believe in this investment, maybe they believe in it, but they believe it's uninvestable over the course of the next 5+ years,
So
because this is 10 years out.
Okay, so two things. Core platform, do you think that that is a fixable situation where all of a sudden, a year from now, we're going to be having a different conversation about Instagram, Facebook, Reels, all of this?
I think it's very challenging, because I don't think the core creativity, if you talk to creators right now, I think they find TikTok to be a far more creative platform. And I don't think this is just a comment purely on Instagram Reels. I think you'd say the same thing about YouTube Shorts and the same thing about Snapchat Spotlight.
Shepard.
Okay, so this video, this was released 4 months ago. That was CNBC. Okay. All right. So they were talking about the concerns then in reference to Meta versus TikTok. And I want to say something really quick before we go into the congressional portion of this as well. I want to explain to you that Facebook is boring. Dun, dun, dun. Facebook is boring. I'm sorry. Like, I feel like I was really into it, like, I don't know, like 10 years ago. But it just, over time, it just never really, it became kind of stale. And then, like, I saw the same things over and over. It's like so-and-so playing with their dog, and so-and-so's cat is like on the window. Look at my cat. Look at my kid that graduated from high school. Look at my friend that did this. Look at my, and it got boring over time. And I felt like they didn't find a way to keep younger viewers engaged. That's what Facebook kind of failed with. Like, they didn't find a way to engage like that Gen Z generation, and honestly part of the millennial generation as well. Now when I go on Facebook, because like usually when I go on there, I just post like my live streams. I'll share like my video clips. I'll share my live streams on like my Sabby Sabs Facebook page and my personal Facebook page. That's it. Every now and then I'll say happy birthday, but I am not engaged on Facebook the way I used to be, because it's boring. You're boring, Mark. So that being said, I'm not crazy active on TikTok either. I may not always post on there, but I'll still look at the videos on TikTok. I think the videos are pretty cool and things like that. But long story short, TikTok found a way to keep particularly younger people engaged in a short amount of time. And so, yeah, Facebook has competition. And if you notice, that's why now if you go on Facebook, you'll see they have this category called Facebook Reels, where now you can create reels, which are similar to like the TikTok videos that you see. See, they're trying to do that same thing. YouTube jumped on that bandwagon too, man. YouTube saw like, wait a minute, TikTok's really taking off. Let's monetize YouTube Shorts. So that's why you'll see us doing like YouTube Shorts now, because they're really, really pushing those. But this also goes into and I really want you to see this because I think this is very important. Open secrets, one of my faves. 1 second. Sorry about that. Meta. Let's see how Meta relates to Congress. Now, this is just looking at the 2022 cycle. So let's see. I'm going to show you the graphs because I think it's easier to see it that way. First of all, I want to let you know that they donate to both groups. You'll see sources from individuals, sources from organization. You'll see how much they donated to candidates, right? But this is nothing because I'm going to take you back in just a second. But I just want you to see average contributions to members of the House, 1990 to 2022. You'll see here the blue line are the Democrats, obviously, going all the way over to 2022. You see it's starting to drop down a little bit here. And then same thing for the Republicans, which is the red line, going all the way over to 2022. So you can see that they donate to both parties. Now let's scroll down. Even when we look at the Senate, it looks like they donate a lot more to the Senate, right? For the Democrats, not so much for the Republicans. But that's not even the piece that I want you to see. I want you to see lobbying. This part here is crucial. 2021, if you look at the revolving door, it says 65 out of 72 Meta lobbyists in 2021 have previously held government jobs. That's important for people to understand. 2022, revolving door, 66 out of 75 Meta lobbyists in 2022 have previously held government jobs. They are in the government. So they have the lobbyists. And then we're going to go to 2020 because I want to show you a difference. I think 2020 is where I saw the most of it. Yeah, let's go to top recipients. Let's go to 2020. Look at this, guys. 2020 top recipients from Meta. You have Joe Biden, the DNC. Oh, look at that. They donate to the DNC. They donate to John Ossoff, Bernie Sanders, Raphael Warnock, Fair Fight PAC, Jamie Harrison, Teresa Greenfield, Tech for Campaigns, Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee. Let me see if it'll let me. I'll come back up to that. And then if we scroll down, actually, no, I want to go back up. I'm sorry. Let's come up here. For the 2022, I wish I had like a pen or a pen where I could just circle this. For the 2022 cycle, when it comes to lobbying, you need to understand it ranks 10 out of 9,073 in 2022. Look how much money. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Millions of dollars. Over 19 million 2022, over 20 million 2021. If we go over to contributions, ranks 302 out of 30,570. Over 2 million, zero for outside spending. Now let me change it to 2020 really quick. Here we go. Contributions, over 7 million. Lobbying, over 19 million in 2020, over 16 million in 2019. So you guys see the problem here? They're all up in the government. They have lobbyists. That's Facebook. That's Meta. Does it make sense now? So this is why, and if we want to go back up to, you can actually just click on a tab that'll just take you straight to lobbying. And this is the chart I want you to see. I'm going to zoom out just a tad. Annual lobbying totals, 1998 to 2022. By the way, this is up in the millions. And you can see over the years what Facebook started in 2008, right? So here's 2009. So even from the very beginning, they were already starting to have lobbyists. They were already starting to do it. Let me zoom. I want to make it so you can still see. I guess you can't see both at the same time. But anyway, this is the lobbying profile, right? 2011. And you notice that it increases over the years. There was a small dip in 2016, and then it increases 2017, 2018, keeps going up 2020, goes up a little bit 2021, and then it went down a little bit in 2022. They are lobbying. Their lobbying totals, even right now, is over $19 million. So what you have to understand is that those congressmen and women, some of them, they're in the pocket of Mark Zuckerberg. So if Facebook is having some problems economically because TikTok is the new thing on the scene and TikTok has become more popular, and it's causing Facebook to have revenue issues, that means that these people, the lobbyists, are also going to have some issues. And that means that these politicians are going to have some issues too. Look at this. These are bills that they lobbied. Bills. And not the kind of bills that you have to pay. Not the bills, not the can you pay my bills. But these are bills that Meta has been a part of. I'm not going to read through all of them, but you see all this? So they're deep up in it. And so this is why I believe this is the other missing piece as to why Congress is pressing TikTok the way that they are. Again, if you follow the money, a lot of times it'll lead you right back to it.